Boker Tov. Good morning. It's good to see each of you and all of you coming in this morning as we get ready to begin our tefillah this morning. Today is a challenging morning. It's a difficult time as we're gathered together. I don't know if you've likely heard that last night at an Israeli embassy event in Washington, D.C., outside of a Jewish museum, two young embassy staffers were murdered in cold blood by an individual who, after doing so, shouted, "Free, free Palestine." Um, we will honor them as victims of terror today and each day. It's a reminder of the kind of defamation and hatred and anger our that our society, our Western society, has not only been tolerating, but in many occasions uh, occurring, encouraging, excuse me. And this must be a changing point. This must be a moment where the dehumanization of Israelis and Jews, there must be zero tolerance for such dehumanization. Uh, Not surprisingly, it's come out that the individuals that were murdered had been committed to coexistence organizations who work for the betterment of all in the region. Um, and there really are no words. We are going to make a very brief connection between that and our Torah portions this morning. But I'm saddened, and it is my hopes that in the statements ahead and in the cases that we make in regard to the statements upcoming, um, that we expect more of our municipal and other political leaders, and we expect more of the police to act against those who express this kind of hatred and to keep us and to keep everyone safe. Let's begin this morning with this prayer of gratitude for awakening to a new day, even a new day where we receive this news that we are so pained to receive, and it's doubly painful because considering the trend of things in our society, it's not as shocking as it absolutely should be. Meaning the fact that it occurred is not as shocking as it should be. The murders are scandalous and completely shocking and must be a turning point here and elsewhere. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma, uברא nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim, גלוי וידוע לפני כיסא כבודך, שאם יפתח אחד מהם, או יסתם אחד מהם, אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, ורופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have fashioned our bodies with wisdom, creating within us a finely balanced network. To stand before you in prayer is itself a fragile miracle. Eternal God, we praise you as the healer of body and spirit. The soul that you have given me, O God, is a pure one. You have created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as my soul is within me, I will give thanks to you, eternal my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. We praise you, eternal God, in whose hand is the power of all life and the spirit of all flesh. And please join me in these words of learning, these words that demand of us, that challenge us to open up our minds and our hearts to the reality around us and to the perspective tradition offers on it. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah, v'arevna Adonai Eloheinu, את דברי תורתך בפינו, ובפי עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך, ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור. These are the obligations whose value cannot be measured. They nourish us in this world and help us to create the world to come. Kibud av va'em, to honor fathers and mothers. Ugmilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness. Vashkamat ben amidrash shacharit ve'arvit, to attend the house of study morning and evening. V'achnasat ochim, to welcome the stranger. Uvidkul cholim, to visit the sick. V'achnasat kala, to provide for brides and grooms. Ulvayat hamed, to keep faith with the dead. V'yun tefillah, to pray with sincerity. V'hava'at shalom ben adam l'chavero, to make peace when there is strife. V'tamud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah is equal to them all. Well, please join me in these morning blessings, these blessings that affirm that all human beings are created in the image of God, and that with our freedom that we're given, we can choose life or choose death and violence, as we've seen in this murderous assault in Washington, D.C. And we will, as we do each day, recite the prayer for releasing the captives, both entirely in Hebrew and half English. Please join me in Hebrew and then alternating into half and half. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sechvi vina lahavchin ben yom uven laila. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you have created me in the divine image. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben horin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you have made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asali kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you open the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you release those who are held captive, and in Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim, Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you maintain the balance of land and sea. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you surround Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you give strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir shena me'enai utnuma me'afapai. And having recited Chai Brachot, 18 blessings, we now turn to Shema, Chai and Chaim, life and affirming life is the essence of our tradition. And we affirm it likewise by reciting this prayer of divine unity, and therefore through God, human unity, and of our commitment to partner with those who affirm life, and to call out, decry, and oppose those who choose death, those who choose anger and violence and evil. Please join me in Shema Yisrael. We'll chant the last paragraph in the Torah trope, it being a Torah day. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meildecha. Ve'ayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavcha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam. בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בתיר תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית, וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני, אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Well, to make sure that everyone who's with us understands the commentary, the words that are being shared here today. Last night at an event sponsored by the Israeli Embassy in Washington, D.C. at the Jewish Museum, sponsored by the American Jewish Committee, who works very hard to advocate for the Jewish community and likewise to hold up Jewish values like coexistence with all of the peoples around us. Two young staffers at the Israeli embassy, actually about to become engaged, were murdered outside the museum at the end of the event in cold blood. After murdering them, the individual who was seen taking the shots shouted, "Free, free Palestine," while being arrested. It is painful how clear and obvious it is that the path from tolerating hatred and anti-Semitism and dehumanization of Israelis and Jews is a direct contributor to this kind of horrific crime, and that those who carry it out must be punished. But even more than that, there must be an awakening to the dangers of tolerating this kind of anti-Western, anti-Semitic, anti-Israeli hatred. And there must be immediate changes in the way in which policing and security take place. I won't speak about the United States, I'll speak right here. And that individuals who wish to present themselves as nonviolent protesters must be expected to act like it. Their hate speech must be criminalized. It is criminalized, but it must be acted upon, and they must be debarred, having a long history of hateful behavior, from carrying out their quote-unquote protests anywhere near Jewish institutions or large Jewish gatherings. I look forward to hearing about the additional steps that are taken to change the reality around us, to change what is accepted and how the police behave and deal with those who shout hateful slogans and carry out hateful acts in support of named terrorist groups like Hamas. And from our Torah portion this week, because it is a Torah day. Nonetheless, we won't allow evil people to take us away from our values. This section from Leviticus 27 gives rise to the Talmudic tractate of Arachim, literally means values, and its understanding and misunderstanding um, is relevant to the hateful criminal act that took place in Washington, D.C. In the days of the Torah, there was no money, not the way we think of it. And so people made vows, and they made vows in the form of animals and objects. But also, as it says here in 27, when any party explicitly vows to the eternally equivalent for a human being, the value of a human being, the follow shall apply. If it is a male from 20 to 60 years old, the equivalent is 50 shekels of silver. If a female, 30, etc. And those who purvey hate and are willing to look at the world as a place where individuals can lose their value and be murdered would look at this text, a text not about war, and none of what I'm saying is about the circumstances of war, which are complex but need to be dealt with separately, um, that we might misunderstand and think because of what we say that people only have a limited value and a value that can be taken or spent. When in fact it's very clear, both in the words themselves and the interpretation of Torah, that why is it that a male would be worth more than a female and certain ages are worth more than others? Because we can put a concrete value on the work that people do, um, on their commitments and contributions, on their actions, but not on their worth as human beings. And when we allow and encourage people to speak as though other human beings had concrete values, it allows them to indicate that others have no value, and creates the environment in which vile terrorist attacks like the one in Washington, D.C. Happen. And aside from the expected condemnations, I look forward to and expect to see, and will work with partners to see um, that um, the that actions change, that the rules and engagement for the police change, so that people are protected from the kind of hate this represents. As I said, war is an entirely different circumstance, and the soldiers of the IDF continue to be called up and continue to fight uh, because in whatever we may feel of certain given plans or policies, the reason for it is clear. It is for the ongoing hatred and terrorist behavior of Hamas and their criminal allies. And so for each of them in harm's way, we recite this prayer of protection and hopes for peace. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ושאר מגיני עמנו העומדים על משמרתם. ישמרם הקדוש ברוך הוא ויצילם מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה, ישלח ברכה בכל מעשה ידיהם, ויקוים בהם הכתוב, וכיתתו חרבותיהם לעתים, וחניתותיהם למזמרות, לא יישאו גוי אל גוי חרב, ולא ילמדון עוד מלחמה, וישבו איש תחת גפנו ותחת תאנתו, ואין מחריד, ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless the soldiers of the IDF and all who stand on guard for us. May the Holy One guard them against all difficulty and distress, injury and illness. May all of their actions bring blessing, fulfilling the prophet's words. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, and may they learn war no more. May all sit under a vine or fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. And together we say, Amen. So let us continue with these words of healing. These 4 individuals were approached by the shooter and 2 were murdered. Others are likely injured. I haven't seen that statistic, but it matters not. People are injured each day and must recover and must be supported, whether they incur those injuries or those difficulties through illness. We think of all those in our immediate family and circle of friends, and those more widely um, who are injured, threatened, or isolated, especially the captives, the hostages, forcibly isolated by Hamas and their evil terrorist allies. And so, for the names given to me and the names given to Temple, for the names that are placed in the chat and this and other services, we turn to these words of Refuah. משברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל הוא ירפא את כל מכותינו. יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהינו לחלימם לרפאותם וישלח לנו מהרה רפואה שלמה ועטרת שלום ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and let us say together, Amen. I'm really grateful to be here with you together this morning for us to strengthen one another, affirm our values, and pray for those painfully whose lives have been cruelly taken, as well as for those who died in recent days and weeks under any and all circumstances. And so we, having had the opportunity to connect and reflect, we now take time to remember, recalling those who died in recent days and weeks, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we've taken into our hearts with our own. During the period of Shloshim, the last 30 days, we extend our condolences to the families of Judy Gert, Joan Turner, Norman Friedman, Shirley Hertzstein, Audrey Albert. And we remember all victims of terror and war, including terror victims. Sila Gez, murdered in Israel on her way to the hospital to give birth, and the two who were murdered outside of the Israeli embassy event, the American Jewish Committee event in Washington, D.C. last night, Yaron Leshinsky and Sarah Lynn Milgram. And we honor those whose lives have been sacrificed in this war against the evil assault from Hamas. Asaf Kafri, Barak Israel Sagan, Ido Voloch, Noam Ravid, Hillel Ovadia, Ido Ben Zvi, Neta Yitzchak Kahana, Niv Dayag, Yishai Eliakim Orbach, Yosef Yehuda Chirak, Danilo Mocano, Yali Sero, Yam Fried, Dejan Daniel Sahalo, Tzvi Feldman. And on Yahrzeit, on the anniversary of their deaths on this 24th of Iyar, the 22nd of May, 2025, we honor the life and legacy on Yahrzeit of Philip Fabish, Jacob Jack Goldman, David Gurovich, Aaron Mandelson, Gittel Obarzanek, Mordechai Obarzanek, Alan E. Paul, Leo Pelkovitz, Edna Rockman, Mel Samus. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be a blessing to us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled as we turn together to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope, the words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemeh rabah, be'alma divarach yeuteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chaye dechol bet Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kari v'imor amen. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ואמור אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imo. Amen. Oseh shalom b'momav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imo. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort and strength to all who remember. And together we say, Amen. Well, it's meaningful to be with you in wonderful times, and it's meaningful to be with you on days where we receive awful news like last night and this morning. We hope that each day can be a better day and that we can work together for the better world that must be. Boker